And again, that video was showing the body camera video from that incident of the day. As you can see, proceedings have started once again. Let's take you right there.
Scheduled to work that day. I received a call from my supervisor, my detective lieutenant, who informed me briefly that there had been some sort of officer-involved shooting in the city of Grand Rapids, and he asked that I respond to the scene.
And did you respond to the scene?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any idea of what time you would have gotten there?
It would have been closer to 10 a.m., I believe.
As a detective, at that point in time, do you know you're going to be the lead detective, if you will, or was there other detectives there?
There were other detectives there, but I was formally assigned as the officer in charge. During a phone call, at some point during my drive over there, I knew I was going to be the lead investigator.
What are your sort of responsibilities as you get to the scene? What do you do?
Initially, we try to get the preliminary information, the gist of what happened, the size of our scene. We're looking to preserve physical evidence, digital evidence, witness information, and any other statements that might be pertinent to the case.
And obviously you can't do it all on yourself. You had other people assisting you with getting witness statements and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Now, part of it in terms of getting to the scene, you've had an opportunity to take a look at the people's exhibits 8, 9, and 10, correct?
I believe so. I'm not sure the numbering system at this point.
But in terms of these exhibits, you recognize those are photos that, did you take them or did somebody else take them?
Again, I have to see exactly which of those exhibits. I believe I took those photos.
All right, we'll bring you up here. This is digital. Oh, I forgot. Evidence. I'm going to show you Exhibit 8, 9, and 10. You recognize those now?
I do.
And what do you recognize those as?
It's a picture of the Nissan that's involved and also of the in-car computer from Officer Schurr's patrol car.
And in terms of that, these photos were taken on scene?
Yes.
Were these photos actually taken by you?
One of them was, another was by a trooper that I was working with.
But all of those accurately depict the vehicle and what you saw when you were on scene as well?
Yes.
I would move for the admission of Exhibits 8, 9, and 10, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Objection.
All right, then 8, 9, and 10 are now admitted.
And just so we can put it over the screen, please, you can switch it over to us, please. So we're looking at Exhibit 8 here. This is the car that was involved in the incident, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't move it, and nothing was done with this at this point in time. You just took a picture of it there.
Correct.
Now, what are we looking at here? Exhibit 9 for the record.
That's a rear image of the same vehicle to include the license plate.
Now, the license plate is kind of an important part of this case, if you will.
Yes, it is.
Why is that?
Because the Secretary of State registration information associated with that plate does not match the Nissan car.
Okay. And I'm going to go to Exhibit 10. Can you tell me what we're looking at here?
Yes. So upon arrival on scene, at one point I entered Officer Schurr's patrol vehicle. It was still in the same location that had been left. I noticed that his in-car computer, which most patrol cars have, was on and open at the time. And this is the screen that I observed. I'm familiar with a similar system that the state police used when I worked on the road and in a patrol car. And this is an access terminal for, among other databases, Secretary of State information. So when I saw this, I immediately recognized that the license plate on the Nissan had been run in the system, and then the record that came back, it even says year 2015 Ford Fiesta right on there.
Laser pointer, that may help.
Laser pointer, yeah, I'm pointing with my finger. So 2015 Ford Fiesta with a VIN that also did not match. And I'm not wearing my glasses, but the query that prompted all these responses is the license plate that I saw on the Nissan that was parked in front of the patrol car.
So this indicates to you that the license plate was run, showed up bad, and that led to the stop that we're talking about.
I believe so.
You can switch off our computer for right now. Now, in terms of other things that you did, and all these videos, were you responsible for obtaining the videos? Can you give the jury a little bit of background how you got the videos that we've seen up to this point in time?
One of our primary goals, and one of my primary goals, was to preserve all the digital evidence involved on the scene. I would receive assistance from my partners in canvassing the area, looking for doorbell cameras, security cameras. We were aware that a body-worn camera and a dash camera were also involved. Early on, learned that the cell phone video may also exist. So I made efforts, either myself or through my partners, assigned them to preserve, locate, and obtain those videos.
So one of the things you talked about was a doorbell video. We haven't seen one yet. Were you able to find a doorbell or security camera video from a house in the area?
Yep, I was informed by one of my counterparts at GRPD, a detective, that they had obtained some short video files from a doorbell and security camera system from a residence across the street from where this happened.
And so did you go about to obtain that to make sure you had anything that actually showed what happened?
Yes, I requested those be sent to me, and I received those while I was still on scene.
And you've had an opportunity to review that. That would be People's Exhibit 11 then?
Yes.
Now to go back to that for this. Before we get into it, it's kind of divided up into 3 separate films, if you will. Are there 3 different videos? Can you explain why it's like this?
Yep, I believe initially I received 17 separate clips. That extended long before the incident and also after the incident. A lot of the videos were overlapping, redundant to each other, but only a few actually captured really the main incident at hand here.
And so that was, you were able to break that down and capture those of what the incident, exactly what happened during the incident, if you will.
Yep, and I believe they had to be broken down to a suitable size to be shared even while they were on scene.
Because it was so large of a file.
Very.
I'm going to play now these parts of the Exhibit 11, Your Honor.
Let's go to Taser. No! Let's go to Taser! Let's go to Taser! Stop Taser! Get back! Stop! No! Let's go to Taser! Let's go. Get back!
Those three, there was some overlap. That was the best you could do in terms of trying to line this all up, if you will.
You're correct.
In terms of when you get to the evidence, part of what you do is seize things that are on site, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to show, this is marked as Exhibit 25. Show you what has been marked as Exhibit 25. You recognize that?
I do.
And what is this?
That is a Taser Model 7.
Okay. And what is this Taser Model 7? Why is it relevant to this case?
It was Officer Schurr's Taser, the center of this issue here.
Okay, so this was the actual Taser that was used in the incident that we've been seeing today.
Yes, it is.
What did you do with that? Why that was seized, obviously. What was done with it?
I observed it on scene when I arrived. It had not been moved by MSP prior to my arrival. It was clear during our preliminary investigation that possession of the Taser was the main issue. Not knowing what other evidence was going to come to light, we wanted to preserve that for fingerprints and touch DNA evidence. So our crime scene response team, which is also with Michigan State Police, responded, and they're the ones that actually physically seized that item, and it first went to our crime lab in Grand Rapids.
And that was to get the fingerprints and so forth?
It was.
At some point in time, do you kind of figure out that that probably wasn't necessary to try and figure out what was the taser?
Once we were able to get some more of the videos, it was clear. We would expect Mr. Leoya's fingerprints and DNA to be on the taser. So to expedite our investigative process, I requested to cancel the fingerprint and DNA analysis at our crime lab and download the information that is stored inside the taser regarding the use.
And then what happened with that taser? Where was it sent anywhere?
It was entered into our property. We have an evidence room that's secured at our work site. I requested one of my partners bring it back to the Grand Rapids Police Department where the information on the unit could be downloaded into a report. My partner facilitated that. We then took the device and we shipped it directly to the manufacturer to Axon for further analysis.
And so they could take a look at it and see if it was essentially operating correctly and take a further, more in-depth look to that, and as well as the body cam?
As well as the body cam and to analyze the data. I'm not a taser expert. I'm not able to interpret the information that comes off the machine, but they can.
And Axon is also the one that manufactures the body camera as well, is that correct?
In this case, yes.
So after getting kind of stuff on scene, this is over a period, it just doesn't happen all in one day, correct?
No.
How long are you working on this case, gathering evidence, if you will?
It's hard to say. I've had some items of follow-up as long as years later, but the bulk of the investigation took place that month of April.
Now, part of that was also getting training records for the defendant, is that true?
Yes.
I believe these have all been entered into evidence, and I'm going to show you, just to make sure. By stipulation, these are all the stipulated items, Your Honor, I believe.
What is it?
We're going to say Exhibit 24, Exhibit 30, Exhibit 31, Exhibit 32, Exhibit 33, and Exhibit 34. I believe those have all been stipulated to Your Honor in terms of...
Those are admitted.
Just for the jury's benefit, can you give the idea of what we're looking at here? What are these documents, if you will?
These are training records from the Grand Rapids Police Department.
Training records for who specifically?
Officer Schurr.
And how did you get these?
I got these via search warrant. I was able to obtain a search warrant and go directly to the Grand Rapids Police Department training unit and facilitate that search warrant and obtain these records that way.
Now, let's use Exhibit 24, for example. I think you have that in front of you.
I do.
Can you give it a little bit more of an idea in terms of the jury? It says 20-1. What does that mean? What are these records pertaining to specifically?
The 20, I believe, refers to the year. Again, I'm not a Grand Rapids police officer. I've not received training from their department. So some of these are generally apparent, and there's dates within these documents that this one is from 2020.
So 2020, and so what years are we covering here then, if you're talking about the training documents?
2020, 2021, 2022. There is a 2019 in here as well.
Okay. So it goes back a few years in terms of the records that they have in Grand Rapids Police about what trainings he underwent.
Yes.
Now, you didn't get into them at all in terms of you kind of pass those along. You didn't do any analysis of them. That was not your role at this point in time.
No, it wasn't.
You just see them and pass them along for other people to look at.
Correct.
Now, one of the other things, did you also get a video as well?
I did.
What was that video for?
It was a graduation video from the police academy for Officer Schurr.
And you had an opportunity to look at that?
I did.
And did that show the officer getting tased as part of the academy training?
It did.
And so that was kind of important, so you asked that to be passed along as well.
Correct.
And now that is exhibit, I believe, been entered into exhibit 12, Your Honor, is the one with stipulations.
Yes, 12 is already admitted.
Matter, I would only note on that, I think there was a suggestion by the defense that there should be some redactions on that. So, could we just approach for a moment?
So just for clarification, exhibit 12 is the graduation video, but it's not the full video. It's a longer video, but it's been edited and.
I haven't seen the whole edited version of it. I've seen the complete video that I obtained.
But this clearly is not. You've seen part of this, and there's edited that are part of this, but we're not the full video.
Correct.
But move it to play exhibit 12, Your Honor.
Just for clarification, when you say it's not the entire video, you mean the entire video of the graduation with all participants?
Correct.
It's just narrowed down?
It's just narrowed down to focus on where we can find where the defendant was involved.
Okay. And you want to play that?
Correct.
Published exhibit 12. Okay. You may proceed with that.
Just to be clear, the music was part of the video that you got. You didn't add that or anything like that.
Definitely not.
That was a video that, music came on that original video.
Correct.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Dodge?
Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
Excuse me one moment here. So, Detective, you mentioned that there initially was going to be a request for fingerprints and DNA to be conducted on this taser here, correct?
Correct.
But that request was ultimately canceled,
Yes.
and because from the video it was apparent that Mr. Lyoya had possessed the taser. Is
Yes.
that correct? And just in regards to a taser device here, do you carry a taser at times with you on duty?
I do not.
You ever?
Not anymore.
Okay. But when you did, does the taser that you would carry have some differences? I just approached the witness, Your Honor.
Yes, you
There's some differences to this exhibit taser. Is that fair to say? As far as battery and cartridges?
may. Which exhibit is that for the record?
Probably should put exhibit, it's the demonstration, exhibit 23. I'll put a sticker on here, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Different from the taser that I used to carry, or different from the taser that was used in this incident?
Different from the taser used in this incident.
This is it. That one doesn't have the battery in it, doesn't have cartridges in it.
Okay. Do you know why the taser we're using in court today does not have those functions.
For safety purposes.
Okay. Now, you've been a police officer for how long here in the state of Michigan?
12 and a half years.
And under Michigan law, it's a felony to even possess a taser or similar electric weapon without certain licensing. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
To actually even just possess a taser, I think I'm safe holding it in court here, but if I don't have a CPL, if I don't have specific taser training, I can't even touch a taser under Michigan law, correct?
Correct. There are very few exceptions.
It's even more restrictive than a lot of firearms possession laws. Is that fair to say?
I'd have to weigh them in specific instances. Some parts are, some parts aren't, maybe.
Okay. So if I went outside of this courtroom, if I don't have a CPL, I don't have taser, proper taser training, I cannot possess a taser.
Correct.
When Mr. Loyola possessed this taser, that was a felony violation, correct?
Yes, it would be.
Based on your investigation into Mr. Loyola's background and whether he had a CPL?
Correct.
Now, I just want to go through some of the exhibits with you. From the workup of the scene here, Detective Tubergen, you responded to the scene of this incident sometime soon after, is that right?
Yes.
Approximately how long after that you responded?
I may have been on scene an hour and a half after it occurred, give or take.
Okay. And did you have the opportunity to, I think you've already talked, you admitted some photos, to see the Nissan vehicle where it was at the time this incident happened?
Yes, I did.
And then after, sometime later, does the vehicle get taken elsewhere?
Yes, it was towed to our 6th District headquarters at MSP.
Now, did you yourself or other MSP personnel take photographs of the Nissan both at the scene there and then also back at one of the MSP facilities?
Yes, we did.
Sir, could I just, Your Honor, could I just approach the witness with some defendant's proposed exhibits?
Okay, you can state which ones they are listed, like the.
I have defendant exhibit L1, L2, L20, and L15. Now, the parties have stipulated to these exhibits, do those appear to portray the vehicle at the scene or at the MSP facility soon thereafter?
Yes, they do.
And does that depict some of the contents within the Nissan?
Yes.
If I could just approach a few additional pictures. Defendant's exhibit L5, L6, L7, L12, and L13. What do those photos depict?
Deployed taser probes.
And does it also include some of the taser wires connected to the probes?
Yes, it does.
And were the probes and the wires, and we're going to get into this more with a taser expert, but were those found right around the body of Mr. Loyola, right in the vicinity where the shooting took place?
Yes, they were.
And those were photographed by MSP personnel?
Correct.
Now, during the stop, as we watch it on video here, Officer Schurr's stop, at some point, Officer Schurr asked the driver for a driver's license. Do you recall that?
I do.
And is that common during a traffic stop that police ask for a driver's license?
Yes, yes.
Is a driver in the state of Michigan required to have a valid driver's license upon them?
Yes.
And when Officer Schurr asks Mr. Lyoya for his license, does he immediately pat at a pocket?
I believe he pats his pockets, yes.
And as a police officer, does that normally indicate that they might be reaching for their license or reaching for their wallet?
Could be.
And did Mr. Lyoya, was he ever able to pull out a wallet or furnish a license to Officer Schurr?
No.
Now, if I could just approach with Defendant's Exhibit L9. Was Mr. Lyoya's wallet found at the scene?
Yes, it was.
And was it located on or immediately near his person?
Yes, it was.
And after that wallet, I presume that wallet was taken into evidence by MSP?
Yes, it was.
And did you go through the content of the wallet?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever find a driver's license in the wallet
Yes, I did.
for Mr. Lyoya?
No, I did not.
Now, if I could also approach Defendant's Exhibit L10 and L11. And do you recall what those depict?
Yes, this is a car key to the Nissan.
And was the car key also located immediately near Mr. Lyoya's person?
Yes, it was.
Now, Detective Tubergen, as part of your investigation, did you go out and interview some of the persons that were with Mr. Lyoya earlier that morning?
I attempted to. I also assigned some of my peers to attempt some interviews as well.
And was that relevant to try to understand what Mr. Lyoya may have been doing that morning?
I believe so.
And could that have potentially shed some light on Mr. Lyoya's actions that morning?
Potentially could.
Did you also look into Mr. Lyoya's just his general history
I did.
and driver's history?
I did.
And did you do a really thorough workup on Mr. Lyoya and his background?
I believe I did.
Now, from your observations of the video, did Officer Schurr give Mr. Lyoya several police commands?
Yes, he did.
And did Mr. Lyoya fail to follow those commands?
Yes, he did.
And did Mr. Lyoya resist arrest?
Yes.
And did Mr. Lyoya shove or push at Officer Schurr at times?
It appears so.
And are all of those felony law violations under Michigan law?
Yes.
Just one moment, sir. Your Honor, we would move to admit the exhibits referenced. That would be L1, L2, L5, 6, and 7, L9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, and L20.
Any objection?
Those are the ones you just showed me, or?
Yeah.
Okay, no objection.
And those exhibits will be admitted at this time.
That's all the questions I have right now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So are there any questions?
No follow-up, Your Honor.
And I don't see any hands raised on the jury. May this witness be excused, even though he's just gonna go to the table.
Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You must step down.
Thank you. Quite a pile.
Call Dr. Stephen Cole.